being recorded?
All right,
won't
so
take
Me
any
a little
pics.
self-conscious, but it's
May
okay.
20th,
All right.
Fair
He never
meeting.
posts them anyway.
2012. I do. It takes me a while. I
It
do.
takes him a while.
I don't think, I might think of something, but I don't have anything off the top of my head.
Are you part of corporate personhood, money politics, and all that stuff?
The DCB group, yeah.
Are you? You want to report back anything going on there? You want
She would know more than she's there more than I am, so
No, it's a hot mess, basically. We're still trying to hash our way through, trying to figure out what the hell we're doing.
any report backs, voting experiment, anything like that?
Just the movie.
Yeah, you wanted to talk. You want to talk briefly about movie night and what that's all about,
Who made
and
the
last
movie?
movie and this week's movie, and is it an ongoing thing?
It's really brief. It's Robert Greenwald, documentary filmmaker. The Koch brothers are notoriously secretive and have, up until a few years ago, been doing basically everything that they do in secret. I don't know exactly how they got exposed, but Greenwald has made a movie about how what they do infiltrates practically every aspect of the country, things you wouldn't even imagine that they're doing. And that's basically it. We've got, Greenwald wants people to screen the film. He's not showing it, he wants people out there screening his movie. So we have the theater for one night. Whether or not we get a chance to screen it again, I don't know, but for now, it's just June 4th at 7 o'clock.
Last week, you guys had another screening of a movie in Brooklyn.
That wasn't us, that was somebody
Okay,
else, that was
okay.
Priceless, and it got interrupted, the thing broke, something broke, so we didn't even get to see the whole damn thing. I already saw Koch brothers Exposed, I went to a different screening of it, one of the first ones. So,
Is this going to be an ongoing thing, a weekly screening of new movie, or is this just something?
I don't know. As it stands right now, it's just the Koch brothers Exposed on June 4th. I
Okay.
know Jason has some other films that he would really love to screen.
Okay.
So hopefully, well, I can.
He's so organized. That's the military in him, you know.
I actually just got one of these.
You have one of these? You
I
gonna
just
come?
gave him out.
Sir, no,
So
sir.
you just gave them up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's it. I really strongly encourage you to come and to
That's,
and
oh
to
no,
spread
that's
the
the
word.
following Monday. The following Monday, right? Not tomorrow.
It's
It's next
Yeah.
week.
no,
2
it's
weeks.
actually 2 weeks from
2 weeks.
2 weeks from this Monday.
Oh, wow.
Because next Monday's
Okay,
Memorial
right,
Day.
right. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not making money off of this. I mean, none of
Really?
us is making money off of this. We are showing this film for free. We just feel really, really strongly that this message has to get out.
Wow.
So please come and bring your friends, call the reservation line on there, and that's
Okay.
it. That's my pitch.
Stefan, any report backs?
Sure.
Have you been arrested this week?
I'm trying to schedule an interview with one of the. Anyway, I'm trying to schedule an interview for Friday. So
For?
so Tim knows about it. Cecilia, someone knows about it.
Interview for?
About the group, what we're doing, and so there's this individual who does he does a show. He does like a YouTube thing. He does a
Oh, the guy we met in the park?
yeah.
So I have to be serious?
Guy. No. Well, that's the thing. If we want to do, so he can only fit 2 people in the studio. So this we discussed this a while ago. If only 2 people want to show up, which is Tim knows about it, Tim wants to do it, I want to do it. If more people want to do it, then we have to do it outside. If only 2 of us, so whoever feels comfortable. I'm trying to schedule something for Friday. So let me know if you guys want to do it.
I'd like to be there. I mean, I don't care if you guys are much more informed. Tim is way more informed than I am to speak. I mean, but I'd still like to be there and whatever, be part of it.
Do you want to be interviewed?
Like I said, I mean,
Okay, forget about it. We're not gonna talk about it now. But let me know.
okay.
Okay.
You have anything you want to report back on? Anything you want to?
I don't have any knowledge of anything
Okay.
aside from what I'm working on.
No
I've
problem.
been working on
You
it.
guys want to get into the meat of the meeting then, if there's nothing else to be reporting back upon? Anything as far as voting experiment goes to
Nothing to
report? any new data, anything?
I don't, no, nothing significant to report back. Oh, but we're tabling today as a report back.
You're
Report,
tabling
But
it.
also,
An announcement maybe.
because
do you
I
mean?
think it's relevant to something we were talking about before you got here, that we were kind of talking about wrapping it up this weekend, right?
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna wrap it up this year. We have over 300 participants in voting
Sweet.
experiments, so I think we should call it a wrap. That's
Okay.
Right, and it's not just the number, it's the
timeframe,
it's
too.
the timeframe, it's that it's.
Sure,
it's
no problem.
We're kind of, we want to keep it within a certain time frame. I guess that's a thing when you're doing this sort of thing. I don't
Maybe,
know that.
maybe at Wednesday's meeting, we could discuss where we want to go as far as the experiment goes. After, well, we've got the data, that's going to be saved,
Is there
obviously.
a quick summary of the voting experiment? Just
You
curious.
want me to do it? Right now, we have, the voting method being used is called plurality voting. And with that system, the person with the most votes doesn't always win, but also it's very biased to a two-party system, very biased. So we took not all, but about 4 or 5 other voting methods, range voting, approval voting,
a summary, not an essay.
be quiet. And so, so we took all these methods and we put it into, Stefan designed a program and for people to vote using not only plurality is one, but all the other methods to see how,
I have a flyer that would, we.
I'll
Well,
shut
that
up
sounds
now.
interesting.
I mean, everything is summarized in there, pretty much. Sorry, I mean,
And we just wanted to gather the data to see
Concise.
how the various methods would affect a voting campaign or.
Well, we have a hypothesis, and our hypothesis is that the plurality of the system that we're currently employing does not reflect the will of the it's the least effective way of reflecting the will of the populace. That's our hypothesis. So that's the
But
basis of.
also adding to that, from the information we've shared and gathered, is there
Well,
isn't one single
before you share that
method.
information, have you taken the experiment yet?
Yeah,
No.
we can't, don't tell, because that'll,
Yeah.
Spoil me.
Did you have your
Yeah,
the
yeah.
iPad with you?
Yeah, we'll do it afterwards.
So,
Okay.
so I think we gathered 300 plus votes over the past little over a month, right? It was a little over-
yeah.
Since the beginning of April.
It's at least a month, yeah.
And so now it's just a matter of reviewing the data. Not only did we do the voting on, I think Tim recorded the hard data also. Right? Did he write it down on some of them?
Can we go on those?
Okay. No, no. Well, anyway, so we
You're
have
not-
the
you're not-
information, and now it's a matter of analyzing it.
Sure.
But what you were talking about earlier, too, is where we want to go, I think, where we need to go with the experiment and start getting information that's representative of the movement.
Yeah, I guess my immediate reaction to the experiment is that if the results that you're measuring are just which candidate gets elected, that's like a pretty simplistic result. Whereas, if there's a more complicated kind of way of doing it and you end up measuring, which policies are going to get implemented, and that would incorporate sort of the way that people campaign given the voting system. But that's
testing-
kind of complicated.
We're just testing methods. We're not testing ideas or opinions. We're
We don't-
testing the methods
Right
themselves.
now, we don't care about that.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean,
Like the basic question,
take it or leave the idea, but like the results that you end up producing might be more compelling if it's looking at, testing the results of not just
Well, this
who
was
gets
our- this
elected
was-
a candidate, but like what are the policies that are going to get.
this was just the initial,
No,
just to
I don't
gather a
mean to be
little
critical.
data.
I'm just saying.
No. Anyway, you want to talk about your idea, and
Sure.
since we segued into it, kind of.
So you weren't here before, but I launched a website. It's called the99percentvotes.com.
I checked that out.
You saw the post
Yeah,
that I
I got
put
it.
on the.
Yeah,
Do
sure.
you have any thoughts?
Go, just give us a summary, and then I'll explain it, and then we'll open start, I guess. Right?
Okay, sure.
You
So
explained it once.
But he didn't get it.
Okay.
right?
Right. So the
Did the meeting start? Then am I
No.
start?
um,
Sorry.
So the primary thing about it is just proposing public policy ideas, discussing them, and voting on them, like a platform to do that in a centralized sort of, easy to use way. It's common sense that something like that might be a good way to use the internet to sort of have the people collectively say what their preferences are. And then the notion is that if that's clearer and more fleshed out, then candidates will see sort of their interest in adopting the most popular ideas as a way of getting the voters on those ideas to vote for them. So, step one is about popularizing the ideas, and step two is about getting candidates to endorse them. And that's probably the simplest explanation.
Stacks open. Question?
It reminds me sort of the whitehouse.gov.
Yeah,
online petition
they have the
system,
We the
yeah.
People site.
Yeah.
So yeah, my point of view about that is that it's a little weird for it to be the government running a site like that. And then also, like, the end result is that if you get a certain number of signatures, you'll get a government response. But getting a government response, or at least the responses that have been provided so far, are kind of like the canned answers that already exist about it. And, that as an endpoint ends up being fairly unsatisfying. So if you can kind of open up a system like that into more of the political process, as opposed to just a communication with the government, I think that it has a little bit more vitality to it. Though, I would certainly want the system that I built to provide the government with a data set that they can use in ongoing governance. Like, the administrative agencies could have like a 99 vote data set that they feel some responsibility toward in terms of, the decisions that they make on a day-to-day basis.
Excuse me.
Okay. You
No, I'm done.
What would the candidates or the government's participation in it look like?
Yeah, so there's a tool that I'm building right now that will take the site data, and it will tell them, if you want to get elected for this office, according to this website, this is the optimal platform. So there's like an optimization tool. And then you can have that optimization tool be conditional on them already being committed to certain things. Like, they're like, okay, I'm already, these three things I'm like doing, but please fill out my platform towards something that I can campaign with. So that's kind of a mousetrap for the campaigns. And then also, they'll have profiles on the website like anybody else, which would, be a way for people to learn about them. And then third, for each election, there's going to be like candidate A and then candidate B, and the policies that each of those have voted for or have submitted, and an assessment of like-mindedness for each user based on the things that they voted for and that the candidates are supporting. So that, and kind of the idea behind that especially is that in the weeks before the election, sort of a greater range of people could come to the website, vote on like 5 or 10 things, and sort of get a slate of recommendations about who and what they ought to vote for. And that's a pretty low-touch, easy thing for people to do just on a one-off basis, but would have a lot of kind of impact toward what they're thinking. And I think that that's an improvement on newspaper endorsements, which are not personalized at all, or just voting along party lines.
I'm gonna skip.
I got
I don't have,
a couple of, if I could read my fucking writing, would be, okay, 4 things I've thought of on this. Are you suggesting that with this, number one, the campaigns, you tailor I'm not sure if the politician is tailoring his campaign or the people are tailoring the campaign, but the campaign is tailored to the election somehow, some way.
Well, the politician has control over what he supports, but to the extent that the people are saying more clearly and in greater numbers what they prefer, then the candidates
But then-
will self-tailor.
So then the public is defining the policy as opposed to what, they're not telling us what the policies are anymore.
They
This
can enter policies like anybody else.
Right.
They're people like anybody else, and then also to make the functionality work right.
But with this,
Yeah.
the average person is going on there and saying, well, this is what we want, this is what is important, and then I guess the campaigns are tailored to that issue. Like right now in Europe, you vote for the issues, and then, the Green Party has X issues, the right has, and so on and so forth. And you vote on the issues for the most part, and then that party picks a candidate that is tailored
I'm
to.
very much interested in this, that being the direction that
Well, is that
things
what
go.
you're looking to advocate here for the?
Not like, I'm not asking the government to change the way that elections happen, but I'm trying to introduce an element into the system that would make it more like that.
And then would you right now we vote for the candidate, but are you advocating, which is the same thing I just said in a different way, but are you advocating to vote on the policies, and then the politician says, well, I support those
Yeah.
things? Is that what you?
Yeah,
Or you haven't thought that far ahead?
no, I have thought that far ahead, and even further. In 10 years, if something like this catches on, it has possibilities. But yeah, the system's designed such that the candidates would find it in their interest
Right,
to
because this is what the
to adopt what's coming up
Right.
from the people
This is
as a
what the
way of
public is
getting.
dictating.
It makes a lot more sense to me for people to say what are the policies that they want, and then for the candidates to tailor themselves to the policies, much more than you just get a couple candidates who have a set of policies, and the people decide which of those sets that they're more interested in. So yeah, that's a general way to say the change that I would like to happen.
Besides the fact that it's happening online, how does it differ from what happens currently? In other words, we the voting public, do whatever we can to make our issues known to candidates. Candidates turn around and say, "Oh, sure, I'm gonna run on a platform of public financing in elections or getting money out of politics." And then once they're elected, they turn around. So it doesn't sound like the dynamic has changed. Only the place where the game is being played.
Yeah, I agree with you that, this is not like a, out of the world invention or something. This is like trying to make the way that it's supposed to work better. And, to have a place that is a popular sort of social network place where it all happens and everything stays on the table and people can get better informed and there's sort of more centralized argument. I think that it can improve it. Now there's things that go all over the place and, but the ideas that get suggested just sort of slide off the table or there's no convergence. Yeah, it's just trying to, herd the cats a little bit.
Is this going to be in the form of a petition, kind of, or no?
It's in the form, currently, this is a launch version, so, it can always evolve. But, currently it's that people put an idea, they define it in a 120-character summary so that it's, tweetable and stuff like that. And then they can have a broader summary. The current limit on that is 1,000 characters. And then there's arguments and counter-arguments that you can submit. And then there's a comments section. So, it is similar to the petition websites like change.org, except that it's very focused on public policy and it's trying to close the loop more toward the election side of it, rather than just
That's
saying
what I
this
was
is what I
thinking.
want.
How is it any different than that? Or is it something that's going to be kind of brought together with change.org, where you can take all these numbers, 100 or 1,000 people says, hydrofracking is bad. Is that the basis of a petition, or is that a basis of amendment, or?
So is this a proposal for something, or is this just a report right now? Do you want to propose something to this group, or?
I propose that you use it and that you try to spread the word, I suppose.
Right.
I mean,
Move on.
I'm open to other ways of working together, but I don't have something in mind that I'm asking you guys to do.
Well,
Do it.
what?
Well, we have other items, right? So
Yeah, no, but this
You
is
wanna
one of the
discuss
things
afterward?
I
I think we
was
should
saying
discuss
for the
afterwards.
voting experiment. The next step, putting ideas and letting and one of them would be, well, what's most important to you? And
okay. So it sounds like you want to propose a different something else. But right now, currently, we have a voting experiment, and we're testing the methods, not the
right,
issues.
right, but afterwards,
Sure, but that's a proposal. If you want to bring a
Right.
proposal, sure. I mean,
yeah.
right now we're just testing the methods again. That's what the
But the
experiment
methods
is
are
doing.
done.
It doesn't test the issues. It doesn't. Right.
Email list. Anybody have any questions for Greg?
Hmm.
That's it? Well, Greg, thank you for coming. We have some wonderful prizes for you. Sorry.
I can hang out and give my 2 cents on other things.
No, I'm kidding.
My email, if you care to email me, well, there's a site email, so you can always message me on the site. But then it's also Greg at the site.
Well, I'm sure you're going to be back, or is this a one and done?
Sure. I mean, if it's a 5-person group.
No, it
No, okay,
fluctuates.
okay. Yeah, no, I joined the group on NYCGA. I've been to several Occupy meetings and was part of some of the tech ops group and things like that earlier on. And then I actually sort of proposed to do this to them, but it was a bit hard to get the organization to actually do it. So then I found it easier to just do it. So that's what I've been doing. And now I'm sort of resurfaced a little bit.
Stefan, email list.
Sure. So Cecilia and I were talking about creating an email list where we would update these individuals that would want to get on this list on a regular basis, like once every 8 weeks or so, or once every 2 months
Who wants to?
or 6 months.
We would just,
So I'm proposing we create an email list. I'm proposing we create an email list where individuals would get on and they could receive periodical updates from our work group, what we're doing, summaries, and if they want to support us. Either come to the meetings,
people that
events.
we meet when we're doing the voting experiment, people that, that kind of thing. We say, if you're interested, if you want to could invite the general public
Okay.
to.
But isn't that what our page is about, or?
No. So this would be a specific email where we would get sent out periodically, not
Okay.
just because I have an update.
Okay.
We would get on a regular basis. We would write something, what we're doing, what we're up to, the things we're up to, and
Sure,
what
why
actions
not?
we have coming. For
I'd
example,
love
we had an
this.
email list. So, for example, if we had an email list, we could send it out and say we're doing a screening, a free screening,
Yeah.
or we're doing a tabling.
Now, again, how is this different than just posting on politics and electoral reform?
Because the people that we're reaching out to are not going to come to the Politics and Electoral website. We're talking about people that we just meet on the people that we meet in the park, people that are not involved with Occupy Wall Street, that are taking our voting experiment. We're just meeting them, or we're handing them flyers.
So it's
talking
outreach
them
for the
up.
most part.
It's definitely outreach.
Okay, well, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
All you,
Sounds good.
Mudas.
And the language before we send out the emails, the language. I'll bring in the language. We'll bring the language to the meetings, and we'll consent on it.
Okay,
Yay.
pass 4-1.
How do people? Well, you're the facilitator, right? So.
Anybody, any questions, concerns? Greg, block it, please, so I don't
No,
have to.
I think you guys should email. Got to keep people up to date.
Yeah, no, yeah, why not? I mean, it doesn't. Are you going to do this?
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
Great, passed.
My fucking proposal.
My fucking proposal.
I propose you do it.
Yeah, you wait. I have enough trouble with the fucking agenda. Anything else?
No,
What do you think of this? Anything you want to share?
I'm on board.
All right, great. Tim knows about it?
Not yet.
All righty, good. When a minute's going to be posted?
Soon. I gotta transfer it to video. That's the
Video?
only way you can upload to YouTube, so. That's
Yeah,
only,
yeah,
that's only
YouTube.
free service, so.
Look, Mom, this is what
Whatever.
your boy's been doing.
But I have too many meetings not posted, so. But anyway, what's the next on the agenda for facilitator?
Funding.
Funding. So we're raising money, and someone suggested that we spend some of that money on flyers instead of us buying flyers. We spend some of that money on flyers that we were making. The person's not here, so. But
Who was
I brought
this?
it, Jason.
Ah. What flyers are we doing?
So currently we have $111. We have $31 from donations. The others are from the shirts we're selling to donate to raise money. Currently,
I don't understand the difference between making flyers and,
Yeah, me neither.
well, I don't
I'm
understand the
just
distinction.
how we're paying for it.
how we're paying for it.
Flyers can be
Currently,
expensive.
individuals are paying for flyers. You're paying for flyers. Jason paid for flyers out of his own pocket.
Oh, okay.
Or he's going to the outreach budget.
No, I got you.
But, so it's suggested that we use this money for flyers.
What can we
I
get? Like,
suggest we use some of it if we're going to use it. So the idea was to also raise money for possibly another iPad to expand the experiment.
I have, since we're talking about funding,
Well, he's not here, so I don't.
Well, I'm just
I
curious.
Put it on the agenda. You
We're-
guys want to talk about it at least?
what? The funding?
Yeah, how you want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
proportion
well,
it, how
hey,
you want to break it apart,
I'd like to,
allocate
how
it, whatever you want to call it.
do we want to
Stacks?
spend money?
Can we
Do
open Stack?
Yeah, sure.
Sure, thanks.
Stack's open. You want to be on Stack? Yeah. Well, do we
I don't want
vote?
to be on Stack.
Be quiet, let me speak, damn it. Do we vote on everything that we,
Patience is wearing very thin.
good, now you know how I feel. Do we want to, everything that we want to spend money on, do we put it, we have to put it to a vote, I guess? Or do we have to get consensus? How is this going to work?
I think it's a consensus thing.
It has to be. But I don't want this to turn into like the GA either, where that's all we're ever talking about is how we're spending money.
I just want anybody who's laid money out to feel like they have the option to get that money back. And
Well-
if it's, I think as a group, we just need to discuss it. I mean, we're not gonna turn into the GA. It's
Well,
not, that's not.
the
gonna
thing is, I've laid money out, but I don't want it back because, I mean, you know, that was for iPad and things like that. And I didn't give it with the intention of getting it back. And how much I gave, I really couldn't tell you, you know? And it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a couple of bucks. So right now, I think whatever we raise, I'm proposing let the money stay, you know? Do you know how much you put into, do you have, you know what I mean?
So, right, so there was a concern about retroactively being paid.
Right.
I said to the individual, I said, well, I put hundreds of dollars, and
You
that'd be
know.
ridiculous, Freeman. But from now on, but we didn't have that before.
Right.
Now we have this fundraising thing, and what do we want to do with it? Do we want to use some of it, allocate some of that money for flyers? Do we want to hold on to it? I mean, what do we want to do with it? Do we want more ambitious
See, now-
expenditures or flyers?
Do we want to discuss this a little bit in depth? And I think we should, in some ways. Do we want to open up a bank account? What do we need to do? Who holds them? I mean, I don't give a shit. It's not going to make or break my life. I make a decent living, so I don't give a crap. But how do we want to proceed? Do we, you know, as far as the money, who's in charge of it? Is the group? Do we open up an account and put it in?
I think
What
we
do
need more people here to discuss it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think Tim should be here, specifically Tim.
Yeah.
Because he's the most.
Well, Tim's
active,
not here, and so.
Among us that's not here.
Well,
So at the
Tim's
very
not here,
least,
and I
Tim
think
should
we
be
should have a
involved in this
meeting
conversation.
anyway, and we can report back to him, but I mean, I'd like to know where we head with this.
Can we have that, can we put it on the agenda for Wednesday?
Sure, of course.
And then just table it until Wednesday, would that be okay?
That's fine.
Consensus?
But, I mean, you know, what if I'm not there Wednesday? You know, it has to be discussed
What do you mean? It
regardless.
was your fucking idea for Wednesday. You better be there.
All right, I'll be there.
I'll go to your home and drag you out by your goatee.
You the fucking dude that's always late. It's gonna drag me. Sorry. It's gonna be late on Wednesday. I'll be there early. How are you gonna drag me? That's my point. Stop looking at me like that. Anything else?
Oh, it was great.
So,
I think the voting experiment could catch on in a bigger way.
you think
And-
so?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing people would want to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is that what the flyers are for? To popularize the voting experiment? Or
No,
I
it's
don't know.
the flyers is to better explain what the voting experiment is for.
Yeah.
Sorry. But we usually hand those out after people take the experiment. We can talk about it more afterwards. I mean, if you like.
Sure. Is it linked to on like NYCGA or Occupy Wall ST or things?
We'll talk about it more. It's
All right.
pretty simple.
You're good. Share. We don't have much on the agenda.
What's next? Can we go on the agenda?
You're next. You're gonna explain to this gentleman. Voting.
Is that all?
Yeah, for the most part.
Can we finish and then?
We're finished. We're on funding, unless you want to revisit funding. Hi, how are you? Please, welcome. We're voting.
When I'm-
I'm actually wondering if, do you guys know if there's a restroom?
Right over
Right
there.
in the corner.
Oh, in there?
Whether or not it's
Yeah.
open is
It's
a
open.
big question, but that's where it is.
Right by the recycle bins, sure.
I'm done. I got nothing else.
What?
Anything else? That's it?
That's it on
Nobody
the
else?
agenda.
Put anything else? Any other items? That was the 2 items?
There were 4, but we discussed, see how well I guided the meeting, huh?
You know what, actually, no, let's back up for a second. We
Let's
were
back up.
going to talk a little bit about,
Funding.
we discussed last week that we were going to talk a little bit about going forward. No?
Yeah,
Didn't we? I think that was
about-
your idea.
about issues and what
Yeah,
we're
you
gonna.
brought it up.
I
Can
did,
you
didn't I?
refresh our
I
memories?
didn't
What
think
was
you
it?
guys would remember. I was hoping.
I remembered.
All right, let's,
So yeah, it's a question to put out there. Going forward, what we've done well with the voting experiment. I mean, we've gotten a lot of obviously feedback and emails, and a lot of people involved and exposed to what is our next a big idea and where do we go and how do we go there and go ahead,
I
please.
think the key thing to do next is to analyze that data before you decide what to do. And then you could even try to get some kind of widespread support on changing the election system and to incorporate one or more of the findings.
That's awesome because that's I think what Tim mentioned also, and it's actually taking the data, analyzing it, and maybe writing a paper on it or something like that, and publishing something. So, yeah, that's definitely along the lines. I'm not saying we're done with the experiment, but I'm saying, well, we're winding down that part. What is our next big thing? Where do we want to go? Is it something like what Greg is mentioning? Let's start up a whole new experiment and get even more data, and well, in a different realm, but yeah. And also June's coming up.
Put your
There's a-
idea on my website, like whatever the finding is.
Yeah, then you could take credit for it. Screw you, Greg. No, in June, there's
Names on it.
the primaries or something coming
You
up in
still
June,
have Copyright.
right.
right?
So that was one of the ideas that was circulating around our group, is to conduct an exit poll, do the
Right.
experiment at the exit polls,
That-
to see what the results would be once
That's what we were.
people voted,
What are the issues that
traditional way.
people are concerned
We
coming
would-
out?
Well, the idea was to see how people would decide
Right.
what the outcome would be if they used alternative voting methods.
Right.
So that was what was circulating. But that would require at least another iPad, so we could hit 2 districts, at least. Not
So
2
do we
districts.
want to try to
There's
raise
multiple
money?
voting- I mean, in order to hit 1 district, we need a few iPads. I don't know how many. It depends which district.
Do we want to raise money, try to raise money? I think it's the middle of June. Is the primary, any idea when?
June, second Tuesday?
Is it the second Tuesday?
I think so.
So we got roughly 3 weeks to raise another $200 for another iPad. Do we want to save the money instead of spending it on flyers?
Well, I thought we were going to discuss that
We're going to discuss that on
later.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think about it? I mean,
We'll ask Zach if you want to, I don't know, is that a question?
I think we need Tim here. I think we need to discuss it on Wednesday. I think we need to, determine if that's what we're gonna do, and if that's what we're gonna do, we need another iPad. It's too, it can't be decided today.
I don't agree. I don't think we should ever hold up our meeting for anybody. I mean, that's just my take. I agree Tim's a huge part of our group, but that doesn't stop us from discussing some of these things. We can definitely brief him, and we don't have to put anything in concrete or whatever, consent upon anything, but it shouldn't stop us from discussing some of these things. That's just my take on it. We've never held up our
I
meeting
thought we had
for.
just decided that 5 minutes ago, though. I mean, that's fine, but
It shouldn't, stop us from at least coming up with ideas or whatever. Tim, I agree Tim's a huge part. Tim's the one that founded the group, but nonetheless, there's no one person here. That's like saying, well, I don't know. I just don't agree with that, but
Okay.
that's just me. We need to address these things. We have 3 weeks, pretty much. Funding, what are we going to do about that? I don't know. Why wait till Wednesday? There's nothing stopping us.
Okay,
from
can we stick
discussing.
with your proposal, which is to discuss?
Right. So,
Stay focused.
okay, well, we can,
So, sure, we can discuss. I don't see why not. Does anyone? We said earlier that we weren't going to make any financial decisions until we have, at least the traditional, the regular people that show up to the meetings, because, it's probably the right thing to do.
that would mean a hierarchy. Sorry.
So, I'm going to invoke the quorum rule.
Well, we do have 5,
We
so
do have a
screw
quorum
you.
rule.
So screw
We
you.
do have a quorum. Yeah, and it's,
We're not consenting
is
upon,
that
but it
weird? We have a
shouldn't.
quorum rule. But anyway, we have.
That's good. That's a damn good thing.
That's weird how that happened. Right?
But nonetheless, okay, so what is our next?
So
You
the
need to,
idea is-
you are the one that's gonna have to, design the program for,
I would say it's designed already.
all we have to do is change the wording for the most
That's
part.
it.
Can we, or how much trouble is that for you to do?
You could do it right now.
Okay, so it's not something time consuming.
I don't have to
Okay,
recompile anything.
I think having that piece to our experiment would be very compelling.
the issues,
At the primary.
what, the issues,
Or the exit.
The
poll.
real-time,
Yeah, the exit poll.
the exit poll, thank you.
okay. Now, okay, if we're doing an exit poll, do we put the candidates' names in there? And are you using, is it kind of live?
We do what the questions are inside, pretty much.
I'm sorry.
We ask the same questions that are being asked inside.
Okay,
We see who's on the ballot,
right.
and then we put those individuals inside the experiment.
Okay. Now, if we want to do that, we need another iPad. Do we save the money and go try to get
Well, we have
another
one,
iPad?
so we could go to one polling
Right.
place, but it'd be better to do multiple polling
Right.
places, right?
Or even have 2 iPads at the same station, because there's a lot of people there coming out, whatever, it would be
Whatever
easier
the
to
case,
get.
yeah.
Well, let's see
I
how
have a
that goes.
question.
Go for it.
Uh,
Can we use your iPad? Why not? It's right there.
I only have one.
You only have one.
So iPads are pretty expensive, and it just seems like you guys should try to think of like 2 other ways to achieve the same goal, which is to get more people to take the voting experiment, other than buying an iPad. Like one would be to advertise on like Google AdWords. I mean that's just what I can think of right off the top of my head. But what's the comparison of the number that you would get from that versus that? And my suspicion is that just getting people to take it over the internet rather than at polling places is probably going to, has the potential to be catch on more and be more cost effective.
Well, I would say, can I get answer?
Yeah, go for it.
I would say it would be extremely cost effective to go to an individual and have them, instead of trying to pay for ads.
No, I don't think AdWords would really
I mean,
work.
it's free to me to look up to you. It costs me nothing.
But if you're talking about buying an iPad, then it's pretty expensive.
Oh, no, we got used iPads for a couple $100. So it's not that,
So, perhaps then my suggestion is just like thinking about other avenues besides the polling place to be able to gather more users of the poll. And, I think that there are probably professors out there, or like-minded type professors who might be interested in having their students take it or something like that. So I guess it's more just like with my website, for example, I have personally made comments or reached out to people, and that's where the people come from. And it's very cheap to do that. I mean, it's just an internet thing.
May I ask a question? So are you proposing to expand our voting experiment operation?
Yeah. Well, I'm
You wanna get on board?
suggesting
That's fine.
that you guys think about how to get the most people to use the voting thing, and additional ideas besides the polling place.
I totally agree. I mean, is there a way we can do it?
You can post on message boards.
No, but even on our webpage, the one you designed, can you do it on there?
Again, so
The voting experiment.
sure, we could expand their operation, but we need developers. We need.
That's not something you could do, in other words.
Not something I'm prepared to do.
Okay. No.
I'm not gonna learn how to develop on another platform right now. Right now, my
So-
job is
so-
No,
develop
I
my
got it, I
platform.
got
make
it.
money to develop on that platform. I'm not gonna.
But it's not. Is
Just
waste
as
my
a
time
point of
running another
clarification,
platform.
the voting experiment is not on the internet. It's okay. That's an issue.
Let me just. I'm naive in some of this. There's no way to just download that program to our page.
No.
No. That's not how it works?
No.
All right, I'm just curious. Are you good at tech?
Not really.
All right.
No one's even gonna bother to ask me. Love that.
I mean,
So,
Cecilia, would you like to take a crack at it?
no, that'd be awesome if we could. I mean, that would be,
Yeah, sure,
it'd be a
we have
great way to draw people
visuals.
to our website also.
I mean, if somebody wants, they could post something. Maybe we could find a programmer that's willing to help us expand the experiment onto the web, onto other tablets, not just iOS devices. It'd be great. But right now, that's what I'm programming. And,
Okay.
I mean, I could program in other languages, but it requires me to sit down and learn other languages. And I'm not. Nobody's paying me to program in these, and this voting experiment. Then I'm not gonna start learning, because then I'm gonna go hungry. I'm not gonna be able to pay my rent. I need to program other shit. So we need. What I'm saying, we need volunteers
I'll
to
volunteer.
expand into.
Okay.
And is there the tech ops group or something? Are you allowed to
Yeah, what the hell? Why don't we approach them?
Go ahead.
propose to them that they lend somebody for some amount of time? I mean, it seems like a
Wednesday
good thing
when we meet
that
up.
would be popular enough to make it worth
so
it.
too.
Good idea, dude.
Thanks.
No,
I
it's,
mean, ideas are great. We need people to take the initiative on these ideas. I mean, I've been here 8 months, and if I've heard a lot of ideas, but unfortunately, a lot of people just like to say that they have ideas. There's not an organization where you just say something and then someone says, "Yeah, okay, I'm writing that down. I'm going to take care of that for you." Individuals have to take the initiative.
It doesn't
Individuals
work.
have to actually do it. That's so.
I would volunteer to help, but
Got your own
I'm like
project.
head over heels, have
Right.
spent so much time and money on the
Right,
thing that I did.
You got to work. You got to work on your own things, right?
Yeah.
Just so much one person can do. So that's why we need more. But ideas are great. You never know; they might lead to.
I don't really know who's still involved with the tech ops group.
Probably not.
I got
There were a
text
couple
message
guys that I
from them.
knew.
I'm gonna reply and see what, because I get the email blast, the text blasts from them. So, see how that goes.
Okay, so we have the possibly June. That looks promising, right?
What else?
We're going to write a paper, right? We're going to analyze the data. Those are that's looking forward, right? So that's
Yeah, we're
finishing
going to
up your-
update our
or-
program to start to gather info on the issues confronting the general populace. We'll see what the hell they think. No? Yes? Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe? Yes. Oh, we got a yes out of them. I'm going to write that down.
A different idea on getting the thing onto the internet, I mean, at least maybe worth looking into, is to like post the job on Elance and just see how much somebody would
Do it for.
do it for. I mean, like there are people in India who work for like $10, $15 an hour or something, and
Make it
you know,
program fast.
Yeah, just screw my people, all right?
I mean,
Fuck you.
it's a good job for them.
Let's
No,
let's just outsource it. Isn't that what the big corporations are doing, buddy? That's why we're all sitting here.
not. I blocked that. Absolutely. I'm
Absolutely.
having a problem getting a job as a program because of that reason. I will not outsource.
Well,
Block that.
That's what I mean.
there are people in
Oh my
America
God,
and
that's so-
people who, or you could post it on Craigslist.
All right.
You know, and
Meanwhile-
you know, if it is an Occupy thing, you could get somebody to do it for free or cheap,
Oh my
perhaps.
God.
I don't know, but it's just worth probably checking. There's a gigs section of Craigslist that I think is free to post on.
Okay.
The other ones cost $25.
Yeah, I post on the other ones for help on it all the time. but
Yeah.
Gigs is free?
I think so. I posted something recently, and I don't think I was charged, but that's the extent of my knowledge about it.
You're awfully quiet, Ms. Frontera.
Just thinking.
Any,
Anything else you want to move forward on? You want to discuss about moving forward? Is that enough? I think for now, since we lack manpower. Possibly.
I have something I want to talk about. There's another group that is talking about a viral campaign for Constitutional Convention. Are any of you guys a part of that? Or
that was an offshoot of our group.
okay, but I don't know if you guys have attended any of those meetings or
When are they meeting now?
right before this one.
Here?
This is a OWS group?
Yes.
Okay.
Who's
The-
chairing it?
There's the 99
who's-
Declaration thing that's like having
No, no,
some
no.
Who is that?
July 4th
Who's
convention.
in the meeting?
I don't know. I just
Jesse
saw it
was
on
the one-
NYC GA website and I was
They
thinking
meet when? 1 to 3?
1 to 3.
Where?
1:30 to 3.
They don't meet, though.
They don't actually meet.
No, that was something that, well, I was a part of it, and Jesse was the one whose brainchild it was, and
Yeah, he hasn't showed up.
he hasn't been here in months, since, I think, December.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's something that we talked about. It's something that I wanted to use the website to try to gather data on and have a central place to post that data, because there are a lot of organizations and groups and whatever foundations that have tons of information and research on that very topic, and try to get those various groups working together, hopefully using our site to gather some of that information, rather than us starting off scratch. There are people that have been working on these ideas for few years, quite a few years, 20, 30, 40 years. Also, somebody pointed out there are no experts on this, so any information you come up with is legitimate, and you're automatically an expert, because there hasn't been a constitutional convention, so there are no experts on it.
Reed Lessig.
There was one
There was
in the beginning.
In the beginning, is good overpowered evil.
Lessig had a good
That's
chapter
it.
in his book on it.
Well, he's not here, is he?
I'm just saying, it's a good source of information.
So yeah, I mean, if you want to do anything with it,
I just had one question in particular about how the delegates are selected, if it ever does happen, if anyone knows any.
again, there's no,
There is no
Hush, hush,
how
secretive.
delegates are
Right.
selected.
Okay.
the
because it
whole
was never-
thing would be done from scratch, like it would be, the
Right.
decisions would be made.
at that time.
Like, say you wanted to start it,
Yeah.
and you asked me to join you, we would then would set the rules. It's
Yeah.
that basic.
Now, is there, I'm naive, is there anything in our Constitution that says how delegates would be chosen, or it's open to the general public at that point?
I think the Constitution only has like 2 sentences about the Constitutional Convention in total anyway, or the amendments convention.
Because that was one of our concerns, is it going to turn into a free-for-all? And, you know, you could call the Constitutional Convention on one issue, but you cannot dictate that one
The
issue will
so-called
be.
one-way convention, yeah.
Right, and that was the fear because
That's the fear raised by the people who don't want it, possibly.
Well,
I would
yeah.
think.
Right, but the thing is that whatever is decided at a constitutional convention doesn't necessarily, because it still has to go through
Right.
the regular
You need
amendment process.
you need-
But if you have
You
a,
still need 3/4 of the states and then 2/3 of each house.
But if
Not-
you
not
have
No,
a-
you don't need
if
the
you-
houses. The houses get cut off
Yeah.
if you're doing the Constitutional Convention.
goes to the state.
You just need the states, 3/4 of the states, or
so it'd be approved on a statewide basis?
statewide conventions in each state. It's either state
Right,
legislative
right,
or
right.
Yeah, that would make
Yeah, you
sense, because
bypass
you're
Congress.
bypassing Congress and the House because they have become
The president,
illegitimate,
everybody, yeah.
or whatever the right word is, because they're not, obviously not functioning the way they're
All right,
designed to.
okay, sorry, so,
Right.
but.
Even the
but the
president-
point still remains that it's,
I'm
You're
just
not gonna-
saying,
you're not gonna get 3/4 of the states, for example, to suddenly decide that, you know, some incredibly radical, like.
Tea Party
should
King
go-
Eric's gonna take over.
Yeah,
well, yes and no. I mean, I think the states have to actually call for the convention to begin with. So if you have enough states calling for it, obviously there's support for it. So there's a good chance that.
That's
whatever-
another.
You know, but again, let's say Arkansas calls for a convention. If you put gay rights on an agenda, there's no way those rednecks are going to approve that. And it's one body at that point, I think, all the amendments, no?
but the thing is
Or
that
they voted on-
you can call for a convention
Right.
without it being specific to any issue.
But I'm saying the specific issues, okay, let's say we want to get money out of politics. We want to overturn whatever, Citizens United.
Right, but then Arkansas might come on and say, well, I'm gonna support a convention because I want to put gay rights in there.
Right.
So even if they're not,
That doesn't have to be the deciding
No,
issue.
but I
Deciding
got that
amendment.
part. But, okay, the states have to still vote on each particular issue.
Right.
Amendment.
It's
Right.
not
Right.
a blanket. It's not
Right.
you vote for one, you vote for all, right?
right.
Okay.
Right. It has to be 3/4 to ratify for each amendment.
Each amendment.
Yeah, I got that.
It's not like an
But
open-
no, I'm saying, if they have
Add your
a,
amendment.
if they have a convention and there's 10 issues, 10 amendments proposed, each amendment, or each proposed amendment is voted on
Individually.
individually, yeah. Okay. All right, let's do it.
It's difficult. It's a difficult task. That's what a lot of people have given up on.
Well, it's not a
It's
matter of
monumental.
being difficult, it's a matter that it's not in their best interest to have a convention at this time because, well, their powers will be superseded. And there's no way they're going to allow that to happen. I mean,
there's never going to be, there's zero chance that there's some sort of official constitutional convention. I mean, the people can always overthrow the government whenever they,
ouch,
if you
we're
get,
not allowed to say that, sir.
if you get all the people,
We're
then-
reform and stuff like that. We don't want to.
No, I'm just saying as a point of
Non-violent overthrow.
realism that
No overthrow whatsoever. Are we advocating here?
I am certainly not advocating. Though Thomas Jefferson did say that every new generation should create its own government, or something to that effect.
However, I am a Jeffersonian.
Thomas Jefferson was a communist.
Yeah, what was it? The purge, the
Better
tyrants.
red than
What was
dead.
it? Anyway.
I'm talking
So,
to the mic.
you have like a proposal, or you just want to discuss?
You have
I
like
just
a
wanted to talk
proposal.
about the topic and see what you guys knew about it.
If you got anything to bring it back, and we can open it up. I mean, it's,
Patrick was writing an amendment.
You know
He's
Patrick
writing
Conway?
up an amendment. He showed up a few times the other work.
Visions and goals.
Visions and goals. He also showed up in corporate person / get money out of pods.
I think issues and goals was dissolved.
Really?
I think so.
Wow.
No. Or maybe Itzhak, didn't Itzhak say it was dissolved? Or maybe it was just that he left it.
No.
I'm sorry, I don't
But
know.
so a lot of people try, but they haven't been able to get the support.
And that's
Because I guess it's difficult, so people want to, people say, yeah, we need that, but then they don't show up to meetings.
but that's why I say let's try to. It's a
Huge.
lot, but
So I think because possibly it was framed as let's go for the gold.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Patrick
wasn't like a
tried to be
dividing-
so specific in a
It should be
convention.
like a
and-
divine and conquer kind of.
Did you see the paper he wrote on it? He wrote a paper. He wrote a proposal for our group on a constitutional convention. But he was very, very specific, and you can't be, because once a convention's called, all
Specificity.
specificity will be out the window, and it'll be a free-for-all for the most part. You can't dictate what's going to be on the agenda at that point. So for him to try to be so specific in his proposal was a moot point. But you're more welcome to anything you can bring to the group would be awesome.
But I'm still interested in it. However, I think a more
So-
subdued approach is a more divide and conquer approach is required. Not
Well,
let's go for the goal. I think something.
that's why I thought trying to bring some of these groups that are working on or have worked on it together would be in the best interest of that. There are professors out there who've spent 30 years of their lives researching and writing all kinds of books and papers on there, so you might want to look at that. And you could
I
bring
know
it
there
back.
are websites dedicated just to
Exactly, move to amend,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's-
Few.
Well, move to
The
amend is
friends of,
about an amendment, not a convention.
But you would have to have a convention.
No?
No?
There's two ways to amend the Constitution. One is the conventional way,
Right.
right? The way that all amendments have been done so far, which is through Congress.
Right.
The other one is the amendment convention, which has never been done, which is why no one really knows the rules for it.
We've had 17 amendments since the original.
But they were all gone
And they
through
all went through
the
Congress.
legal
Yeah.
channel or whatever, illegal channel.
Illegal channels.
Illegitimate channels.
Anyway, any other ideas as far as our groups? Any vision for
Moving
you,
forward.
Cecilia, going forward? I mean, anything you see where we could work on that maybe something, whatever?
I have one thing.
Yeah, let it just,
No,
nothing.
no, I'm,
Consent with the current goals.
How about a system where more free broadcasting of candidates on television networks for when they're running their campaign ads? Like instead of the people having to rely so much on campaign donations, they just get free advertisement on whatever channel on the.
Would that be money in politics
that's
meeting?
public financing. That sounds like public financing.
That is public finance.
Yeah.
Is there a separate group for that? I'm just curious.
Well,
Or
it's
is
one of
that-
the things we're working on in our other group.
And corporate
is
personnel,
trying
right?
to address the idea of public
the sister
financing
group.
in New York State at least, which is looking deader and deader as the year progresses.
Are you regular at those meetings?
Yeah.
Can you invite some people over and we could share and cross whatever, maybe even Wednesday?
Cross-pollinate.
We could do that on Wednesday.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh, totally.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we could set up a table.
Greg, you got anything you want to share? Anything, I mean, you have a basic of what the group's all about. Anything you see where we can go and what we should be working on or what we could be working on? Any ideas, anything, feedback?
The 99 website.
Yeah, I mean,
99 vote. What is it called?
the
I'm sorry.
99%votes.com or the 99vote.com works for short. I mean, I think the key thing is broadening the groups and getting things that are going to spread more. And, you know, I like that you guys are, you know, not so anarchist. Like, I went to Occupy Oakland, and I, like, got booed off the stage talking about what I was doing. And they were like, you know, they called me corporate boy. They were like,
not funny.
we don't care about political, you know, electoral politics.
But they do, because
Fuck
they're
the
out there.
police. Like,
They
you
care
know.
about politics because they're out there. But
Yeah.
that's the
That's
part
their
that's-
definition.
Well,
They have zero hope for electoral politics. But, you know, that just puts your
I think
hopes
I've
on, like,
raised that in our
anarchy,
meeting
which
before.
is,
sorry.
you know, I don't think that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, to be more moderate, I think allows it to spread into a greater movement, and I think that is the number one goal, is to have things that will spread and broaden. That's it. It's pretty
You
general.
got anything you want to spread and broaden?
You mean like specific reforms that I want? You can go on my website, and I've got my
Screw
ideas
you,
on
right?
there.
This ain't FaceTime for your website. Can we block that out?
I don't know. I think you
not here
guys
to
should
promote
use my
anyone.
website.
What's that?
I think you guys should use my website. I think that's a good way to broaden the group, really, would be to have
We
like a
post on
group
there?
username and like post your ideas. And,
We can post on there?
yeah.
All right. Oh, you got what is it?
The 99votes.com.
www.
The 99% votes,
It's
or
words or
yeah,
spelled
well,
out?
the 99 is numbers.
The 99%?
Yeah, that's a word, and then votes is a word. .com. So yeah, I mean, you could create a group account and post your ideas under that account.
Would
I
you
mean,
guys be okay if I started a group account and just posted any updates from our group on there?
Well, the
Autonomous actions. I love autonomous actions.
So is that, I mean, but I'm going to do it under
Just
politics
don't
on
say,
electoral reform.
just don't speak for the group.
No, I'm only going to post like updates, like voting experiment or things like that. Is that okay?
no, actually,
I don't think you understand the purpose of the website.
No, just.
the only
You're not
submissions are
listening.
public policy ideas.
Oh,
So-
okay,
So
okay,
if you
okay.
guys are talking about,
Voter, I mean, definitely that's part of,
So you don't have a profile for each individual? Or
no,
it's
you
anonymous, I mean.
you're allowed to have an about me, and you're allowed to argue and comment on things as you like. But the core submissions are all policy ideas, not just
Well,
like
that's
announcements and
that's-
things.
well, that's the thing. I would never speak for the group.
It has to be
as-
individual thing.
No, I would speak on my own. No.
Well,
That's one of the
you
things
can
we
say that
agreed
you're a
upon
member
long
of the
time
group
ago.
and you're about me.
Nobody speaks for the group as officially, well, unless the group okays it.
Unless we want to push this, like electoral reform as an.
Well, yeah, that's, I
As an
mean,
issue,
that's why I said, can I start an account? And you can all access that account and post through that account, but it would be things we're working on and policies, like the voting experiment, and I think that's legitimate as far
Well,
as what.
the finding of the voting experiment,
Yeah.
and like, if you were gonna say, let's do,
Or would you, do you
X
agree that
instead of Y.
other voting methods are necessary, or things like that? I'm trying to,
yeah, it doesn't have to be super targeted. Like, you could say something generally as long as it's toward the direction of like a policy that ought to change or a new policy. So, if you're saying X instead of Y, like, our current is Y, and we think X, and then in a description, you could explain your results and link to to something on the internet if there was something on the internet.
How many hits a day do you get?
I just launched this, so
Is it steady or is it growing?
I mean, it's growing.
It was like creaking.
I mean, it hasn't taken off yet, so
we got 19
It's not the
million.
next Facebook.
Right.
I'm working on it.
I'm with him.
There's 108 people on the website right now. There's 108 ideas also on the website right now. So,
Wow. Right.
but,
Everybody's
I
got
just
their own
launched
idea.
it.
It's totally anarchic.
No, actually, I've submitted 14 ideas. My wife submitted 9 ideas. you know, but there are submissions as you go down the line.
Thank you.
So, you know, there's probably a good chance it doesn't really go anywhere. But I think that there is some chance that it does. And, you know, if you guys were on it, that could only help.
It would give it legitimacy, huh? Huh?
I mean,
I don't know if 5
We
people
know
give it
people.
legitimacy.
I'm
We
gonna
know
take-
people.
just quantity.
I'm gonna take a look at it.
We know
I'll go on.
people, Greg. Huh?
I
Who was
like
that,
it.
Jill Stein?
Cool.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
close with. Jill Stein's a great chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Green Party what?
Woman. Candidate.
Yeah.
Chick.
Chick.
Naomi
would you
Wolf
vote
is
for her?
following me on Twitter.
I don't know enough
She
about
seemed
it.
like
That's-
just like
But
any
she
other
has not
politician.
tweeted about it.
Am I right, or?
I
she was
don't
just
know. I
one-face
don't know
on.
exactly.
She's
I tweeted
like,
at somebody
Yeah.
who's
Look, I'm one of the
fairly
guys
famous,
kind
so
of
like,
thing.
yeah,
I didn't see.
I think that's probably how they-
She,
Okay, cool.
no
Just
matter
keep
what we
doing
asked her,
celebrities and
yeah.
She
take
had
off
her.
quick.
she had her.
Well, there's a group of at
Is
least
the meeting done?
100 or so
She had
I'm sorry.
ready-made
well-connected people for
answers.
this
Was
kind
that,
of thing.
is that
So yeah,
just my
I'm
perception?
pinging
Or
them.
It's a black hole.
was that?
That's your, yes.
You don't
No,
think?
yes, I agree with you.
Anybody? Anything? Any announcements? Anybody having a baby or anything like that?
Well, we're tabling Union Square today.
You're tabling Union Square.
We're going up to
Does that
do
mean
the voting
You're
experiment.
taking Union
and,
Square off the table? What does that mean?
See, he asked the question, but he doesn't bother to listen for the answer, because he really just wants to hear
Well, I
himself
think he
speak.
knows what it means. He's just being difficult.
You know, you're being recorded.
Well,
and once
being
they put this
difficult
on
is, yes,
on the
yes,
internet, it stays there
absolutely being
forever.
I love
difficult.
you too.
We're gonna continue with the voting experiment. We're gonna promote the movie, and
In Union Square or Washington Square? Why don't you go to Washington
In
Square?
Union,
Everybody's
Because
there.
we decided Union Square, right?
because we're meeting
Oh, okay.
fabulous people.
No, because Union Square is 10 blocks from Washington Square. Have them come down. Only because OWS is.
Because we like to plan, we like to act on planned items instead of
Obsolescence?
on impulse.
I'm just saying. Do you want to ride to Union Square?
Totally,
My car's like a couple of blocks away. Serious.
right.
yes,
Are we done? Because I'm using up space on my device. Are we done with the meeting?
yes, we're
I
done.
think we should blow something up.
God.
Cut that part out.
Shit.
You've just ruined